Whatever type of video you create, it needs to start with the idea. What is the idea that you have? Maybe you don't know exactly what you want to create. Now, I've done a video before, it's on my YouTube channel, and it's about like a niche, like how to find it. So I'm going to give you some exercises that you can go through. There's no right way to do this. The only really wrong way, if you think about it, is do nothing. Because if you don't do that, you won't get anything done. Whether you use a physical journal, like something that you can actually write in, or you use something digital, like I use Apple Notes. My notes for this course, they're in Google Docs. That's what I use, but you could use Notion. You could use anything. You can use calligraphy if you want. But the idea is, no pun intended, to take some time and just come up with a bunch of ideas. Before you even start that, you should be thinking through, well, kind of what do I want to talk about? If you're just starting, let's say you have hobbies, or let's say you have interest in grilling and you're into knitting and you're into rock climbing. Pick one of those and go with it. This isn't about perfecting your channel and the production from day one at all. You can always tweak and change as you grow. This is about getting the things out of your head, or your noggin, as I like to say, onto paper, whether it's physical or digital, so then we can take that and run with it. So what I would do, just start writing down every idea you can think of. Don't worry about completed sentences. Don't make it paragraphs. We're not doing outlines yet. You just want to write down ideas. So let's say it's going to be gardening, something I know nothing about. So you might want to write down how to start a garden, how to grow tomatoes, what is fertilizer for, what times of year should you plant, just on and on and on and on and on. You want to keep writing ideas down until you get to a point where you're having to think too hard. When you do that, stop. Put the pen down, move the cursor over, but stop. You may have 100 ideas, you may have 3 ideas, you may have 25 ideas, but do this in one sitting. You're not worried about grammar. You're not worried about whether the ideas make any sense. You just want to get them down. And go through your list and pick one, just one. Well, Kevin, I like 2 or 3 of them. Just pick one. Well, what if it's not the best one? It may not be. Just pick one. Well, what if it's just not my favorite? It may not be. But pick one that you think, this is the one I'm going to put my tent pole in, and I'm going to start with this one. Once you get that idea, what I want you to do is just create a rough outline. Now, you may be a person that likes to write everything out, and you may be the type person that wants to read a script. I'm going to recommend you don't do that. The writing out part, if you want to do, is fine. I would not worry about having a script and memorizing it, because I think that's going to be a layer of difficulty that you have to think about that will keep you from doing. And this is all about getting you to do, getting it done. So write out some notes. The way I would structure it is kind of 3 parts. I would have an intro, which is also called a hook. I would have the body, which is kind of like the value of the video. Even if it's just entertainment, there's some value. And then I would have the end, which can sometimes have a call to action, which the call to action could be just like, thanks for watching. And then that's the structure you'll follow for the video. It's, again, not about being perfect. It's about getting it done. Now let's talk about the gear. I think, honestly, this is a bigger stumbling block than the idea. I see it all the time. What gear do I need? What's the best camera? What's the best mic? And it's easy when you go to YouTube, you see all the new gear coming up because these manufacturers have got it down pat. They know when they've got something new, they send it out there and people are going to review it. So this is about using what you have. I will never, ever, ever suggest you go and buy something to create. Now, there are times where some gear can make it easier and actually better, not from a quality type of standpoint, like it's going to look like a Netflix documentary, but like making sure people can hear you. It really comes down to look and sound, the visual and the audio. How you get there doesn't really matter. So let's talk about the video. I'm a Mac guy, but if you've got a laptop, you've got a built-in camera in it. If that's all you have, use it. Sometimes it's called the webcam, sometimes it's called the FaceTime. I will say this, it is not the best quality, but it is a camera. Better would be your phone. Now, I'm an iPhone guy, but whether you're a Samsung or an Android phone or whatever the other brands might be, just use that. Now, if you have a camera like I have a couple of Canon cameras, I have a GoPro, I have an iPhone, I have a webcam, I have a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Those are all great, but you don't need anything fancy or expensive to create. So if you, quote, just have an iPhone, use it. What I would recommend is turn it on its side where it's more holding like this, and you want to record it this way. I would record it where you can actually see the screen rather than try and fool with one of the lenses on the background. That's up to you. I'm just about making it simple. Let's talk about audio. If you have wired or wireless earbuds, you got to be a little careful about this, but just use those. If you're recording at your desk, I have a mic that's connected to my computer, but you can also get wireless mics. DJI has wireless mics that are great. Hollyland has wireless mics. Rode has wireless mics. What's great about these is they're literally plug and play mics, and they all work with your phone. So again, on an iPhone, you have a native camera app. It's the camera app that comes with it. There are other apps out there that are good. I would use the camera app that comes with your phone. It'll be fine. It'll just be fine. If you don't have any of those mics I mentioned, and you don't have a budget, then get as close to your camera as possible. There are mics on the iPhones that sound good. It's about being able to hear you. I will say this, audio is more important than video because if someone can't hear you, they're probably not going to pay attention. Then let's talk about lighting. Now, again, I have a lot of different lights. What I would use is natural lighting. And usually by that, I mean a window. Like to my right, I have a window in my office, and sometimes I sit at the desk in front of the window and I just let God light me for free. Now, I do have a shade I pull down that diffuses the light a little, and when I mean diffuse, it just doesn't make it as bright. But you could do that. You could let a window light you. What you don't want to do is put the window behind you. Just have the window either in front of you or beside you slightly. Now, I will say this, if you wear glasses like I do, you may see the light in your glasses. Don't worry about that right now. This isn't about perfection. It's about getting it done. If you want to take it a step further and you have any lamps in your home, then you can just add in like a nice warm or cool light bulb to that. Again, just something so you're not sitting in total darkness. Now, in my studio office, I have accent lights in the background. I've really dialed this in. I have a light on my computer or on my desk that I just turn on and off. And then also tripod. I record a lot of things that at my desk, my camera is mounted to my desk. So it's always going to be there and ready. You could buy an inexpensive tripod. Now, be careful because if you do already have camera gear and it's expensive gear, I'm always hesitant about putting a nice camera on a really cheap tripod because if the tripod breaks, if you're using your phone, which I would highly recommend, and you don't have a tripod, use a stack of books. Use something where you can sit your phone there and step back and hit record. If you're doing a vlog, then literally you could hold it like this. Let's say you don't have a tripod or a holder or something like that. I do think it'd be a little better. You don't need a gimbal. And if you don't know what a gimbal is, then good for you. But just hold it like this and start talking to it and record it. Okay, now we're ready for the fun part. At least I think it's fun. It's actually recording your video. There's so many different ways you can record it. You could record it at your desk. You could record it on the go. You could record it sitting in your car or truck. So decide where you want to record it because that will help you decide how you want to record it. So let's say, for example, you want to sit in your car or truck and record it. Just a safety note, I feel like I need to say, but I shouldn't. Make sure you're not driving. Pull over somewhere, turn the engine off, which will also help with the quiet. And then you can hold it, you can get a mount that goes into it, or you can just set it up on the dashboard, assuming you're using your phone or GoPro or something like that. If you're recording at your desk, you can have your camera actually connected to your computer. There's different ways to do that. Or if you're on the go or something like that, you might want to use something like a GoPro, or I mentioned the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which you can record and walk. You want to decide how you're going to record it. Don't overthink this. Make it simple. Now, I'm going to give you some options as well. I'm on a Mac. I would say most of the things I record now are directly onto my computer with my Canon camera connected to my computer. And so I use programs like Riverside or Ecamm or StreamYard, but there's also OBS. OBS works on Mac or Windows. Some of these work on either one. It doesn't really matter what you have. Again, if you're on a Mac, there's QuickTime, which comes with the Mac, which is fine to use. Just find something simple to record. And again, if you don't want to be tied or tethered to your desk, the best thing you can do, especially if you're using your phone, is make sure you have plenty of storage on your phone and then record directly onto your phone, which will save to your camera roll. I think it's really important before you record, though, to make sure you've got plenty of storage. I don't know that I would record in 4K if you don't need to, because 4K takes up more space. That's your call. But, whether you save off to Google Photos or Amazon Photos or you do iCloud or whatever, just make sure you've got plenty of space before you start recording, because you don't want to really be in the groove and all of a sudden you get the boom. Sorry, you're out of storage. If you want to do that and you've got your phone, record straight to your phone and it's going to be on your camera roll when you are done. What I'm going to recommend is you do one take and you don't edit. What I would like to hear are the people out there that don't know how to edit, they're scared of editing, even though you shouldn't be, that just said, amen. And maybe this is you, you've never edited, you're scared of editing, you think you've got to outsource editing, which you don't, and so therefore you don't know how to edit. That's fine. Do one take, hit record, and go. Now, on the iPhone with the newer iOS, you can actually pause the recording now, where before you couldn't do that. I don't know about older models, and I don't know about Galaxy or Android phones and Samsung and things like that. A lot of the recording software I use on my computer, there's an option to pause it. But what I would recommend is, if you go back to your outline, you should have an idea of how you're going to start, what you kind of want to talk about, and how you're going to end it. And you know what? If you forget somewhere along the way what you were going to say, look at your notes. It's okay. Don't apologize for it. Just look at your notes. I've been glancing at my notes several times during the recording of this course. But what I want you to do, again, this is about getting it done, is you hit record and you start talking and you go through it. If you need to pause, that's okay. But what I would do is do one take, no editing. And then when you're done, you want to stop it. Now, could you set a time limit? You could, if that helps you. But I don't want you to get so caught up in the time right now. And I want you to stay focused on just getting it done. I think it is far more important you present value, whether you're helping teach something, you're helping encourage somebody, you're entertaining somebody. Let that be the driving force over how long it is. If it helps you stay on track, set a timer for 5 minutes and go. There's nothing magical about 5 minutes, so don't get hung up on that. And then what I would recommend is looking straight at the lens. Now, if you're using your iPhone and you're using the front camera, like I can see it, it's always going to be here at the top if you're holding it this way. So keep that in mind. If you look at the screen and see yourself, you're not going to be looking at the lens. What I would do is just record a 1-minute test. That's it. Just 1 minute. Again, nothing special about that. And watch it back just to make sure you're looking at the lens and your mic is working if you're using a mic and you can be heard. Because if you're not using a mic and you're in a very, very noisy place, going to be hard to hear you. So just do a quick test, nothing fancy, just something to test it, watch it back. I'm good to go. Now I want you to take your phone or whatever you're using, hit record and go. And just try and be as natural as possible. And you know what? If you're very uncomfortable, it's okay. Work that in. I've been asked many times before, what should my first video be about? And I say, make that your first video. That, hey, I'm new at this. This is my first video. I don't really know what I'm going to be talking about, even though we've kind of worked through some of that. But the goal is just to get it out there, because I do believe creating video content is just like driving a stick shift. The more you do it, the more you get comfortable at it. So the more reps you keep putting in, the more you start being able to do it more naturally and easy. Remember, I'm talking to a lens on a camera. I see a big round hole with a little glass on it, but my goal is to connect with you. And that's what you're doing. If you have to look off, look off. If you have to look at your notes, look at your notes. If you forget what you're going to say, it's okay. Okay, so now you've got your video. What do you do? Well, I want you to upload it to YouTube. When you upload your video to YouTube, now you can upload directly from your phone. You can upload directly from your computer. You may have to get it to a computer to upload it from there if you want to. I prefer doing everything on my desktop. It's just the way I am, but you can do it from these other devices. What you want to do is upload the video, give it a title, and you want to put something in the description box, and then a thumbnail. Now, YouTube will pick a thumbnail for you. It's 3 frames at random from your video. You could just pick one and go with it for now, or you could create a thumbnail in Canva or some program like that and upload it. When you're done with that, and there's some other checks and balances that or some other things you want to go through, then you want to hit publish. I'm going to strongly recommend you make this public. If you make it private, nobody's going to see it except you. If you make it unlisted, you can share the link, make it public, everybody can see it. That's how you get it done. It's not about just recording it on your phone and you show people, hey, look at this video I did. No. You want to send people to your YouTube channel so they can see it. Is it going to be great? I don't know. There's a belief out there that, your first video is always going to suck. And I used to think that. I'm like, no, wait a minute. Maybe your first video is really good. Give yourself some grace when you're doing this and publish it on the YouTube channel, on your YouTube channel. So then you can say, I did it.